In lecture series on Introduction to Radar System, today we will discuss delay line canceller, line speed, digital MTI processing, etc. We have already gone through the basics of delay line canceller. In previous days, in analog delay line canceller, they are now replaced by digital delay line canceller because of several advantages. So first we will discuss the disadvantages of or the properties of analog domain digital delay line canceller. Then we will tell you the advantages of digital DLCs. A simple delay line canceller is a time domain filter that rejects the DC component of the clutter that we have already discussed in connection with pulse Doppler radar. The pulse modulated delay line must introduce a time delay equal to the pulse repetition interval. Now, to produce delay of several milliseconds, because pulse repetition interval in normal radars is of the order of few milliseconds. So to produce a delay of several milliseconds, the electromagnetic signal is converted into acoustic signal, because if we really want to produce a delay of few milliseconds, the corresponding transmission line, length of transmission line for the electromagnetic signal could be extremely high, because velocity of the electromagnetic wave is very high, of the order of velocity of light, or slightly less in transmission lines. But still, to get millisecond order of time delay, we require excessive length of transmission line. So what we do, we have to convert this electromagnetic wave into equivalent acoustic signal. Now acoustic signal velocity is little bit, not little bit, it is very much smaller compared to the electromagnetic wave. So we can use small length of delay line. That delay occurs in acoustic domain. Now once we get the delay, we will again convert this acoustic signal into electromagnetic signal with the delay. So this is the procedure used in analog domain. So delay is introduced with reasonable length delay lines, then the acoustic signal is reconverted into the EM signal. So this was done for the analog domain. But nowadays, okay, let me finish this thing. Advantage of time domain delay line canceller over frequency domain filter is a single network operates at all ranges and does not require a separate filter for each range resolution cell. Now into digital domain, it becomes very easier, because these delays are stored. To produce this delay, actually using this AD converter, the signal is converted into digital domain. Now we can use memory. Once we have memory, we have storage components, then it is very easy to produce any sort of delay. So we will produce delay in the digital domain, we subtract everything, all these things are done in digital domain. Now once we get the subtracted output, we can either reconvert it into analog domain, or we can store the signal for further processing in digital domain itself here. So that is the advantage of digital delay line canceller used nowadays. The filter characteristics of delay line canceller. If you can remember the block diagram of MTI radar, or the block diagram of pulse Doppler radar that we have already gone through, at the last block we had a phase detector. So output of that phase detector should go to the delay line canceller. So let us start from that point. So the video signal received from a particular target at a range R0, that can be written as V1 equal to K is a constant amplitude, sine 2 pi fdt minus phi 0, where this phi 0 is the phase shift. A signal from the previous transmission, which is delayed by a time pulse repetition interval, that can be written as V2 equal to K sine 2 pi fd t minus phi 0. So everything else is assumed to remain essentially constant over the interval t, so that K is the same for both the pulses. The output from the subtractor, so V1 is this and V2 is this. So output of the subtractor V1 minus V2 is equal to 2K sine pi fdt cos 2 pi ft t minus t by 2 minus phi 0. It is assumed that the gain through the delay line canceller is unity for the sake of simplicity. So if you see the expression of the subtractor output, that consists of a cosine wave at the Doppler frequency and with an amplitude of twice k sine pi fd into t. So this is the amplitude of the output signal. So the amplitude of the cancelled video output is a function of the Doppler frequency shift and the pulse repetition interval, or the PRF. So frequency response of the delay line canceller can be written as simple output by input type of thing. So HF equal to 2 sine pi fdt. This is the response of the delay line, or you can call it as transfer function of the delay line. So if you plot it, relative amplitude versus frequency, you will see that it will show a half sine wave, because it is pi fdt, sine pi fdt, so it is a half sine pulsating type of signal response, pulsating type. So interval is 1 by t, 2 by t, 3 by t, etc. So frequency gap between two minima is 1 by t. Now we have the limitations. The frequency response function has a zero response when moving targets have Doppler frequencies at the PRF and its harmonics, because in frequency HF plot we have seen that at each interval of 1 by t, that means at 1 by t, 2 by t, 3 by t, etc., we have minimum is 0. So for a moving target whose Doppler frequency is exactly equal to the PRF or its harmonic, that means either it is 1 by t or 2 by t, etc., then the response would be 0. The Clutter spectrum at zero frequency is not a delta function of zero width, but has a finite width, so that the clutter will appear in the passband of the delay line canceller. That is another problem of the single delay line canceller. So there will be target speeds, and these speeds are called the blind speeds, where the target will not be detected and there will be an uncancelled clutter residue that can interfere with the detection of moving target. Now we will consider the blind speed. So if you can, we have to remember this plot of HF again. So here we have 0, here we have 0, here we have 0. So the response HF of single delay line canceller will be 0 whenever the argument pi fdt, it was sine pi fdt, so argument is pi fdt, in the amplitude factor of HF is either 0, pi, 2 pi. That means 0 argument is 0 means here, argument is pi means here, so argument is 2 pi means here. So at those points the HF will be 0. That means pi f dt equal to n into pi, right? So fd equal to n by t, that is equal to n into fp. N may be 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, etc. Fp is the pulse repetition frequency. The delay line canceller not only eliminates the DC component caused by clutter, n equal to 0 corresponds to clutter, but unfortunately it also rejects any moving target whose Doppler frequency happens to be the same as the PRF or multiple thereof. Okay, those relative target velocities which result in 0 MTI response are called blind speeds. So blind speed can be written in this way: Vn equal to n lambda by twice t. We have already relate this Fd with speed, so it is n lambda by 2t is called the blind speed. That means n lambda fp by 2. So n equal to 1, 2, 3, 4, etc. So Vn is called the nth blind speed. So first blind speed means right here. Second blind speed means right here. So blind speeds are serious limitations of MTI radar since they cause some desired moving targets to be cancelled along with the undesired clutter at 0 frequency. Now there are several methods to reduce the effect of blind speed in radar. So we will discuss the 4 methods. Operate the radar at long wavelength, that means low frequency. Operate with high PRF. Operate with more than one PRF, and operate with more than one radio frequency or wavelength. Now if we plot the first blind speed with pulse repetition frequency for different bands, that means for different frequency ranges, say in VHF band, we will get this plot. Now pulse repetition frequency is connected to the unambiguous range. So in the same plot we have unambiguous range in this direction from right to left. So let us try to understand this, how we can select the frequency of the radar using this plot. Our target is to make the first blind speed as high as possible. Okay, so for any, let us select any band, say L band. So our objective is to have first blind speed as high as possible, so we have to go in this direction, right? So more we go in the upward direction, first blind speed will be higher. So how we can go do this thing? By increasing the pulse repetition frequency. So if we increase the pulse repetition frequency, on the other hand, unambiguous range, this is the unambiguous range will fall. That means the radar range will be reduced. That's the problem. So instead of L band, just assume if we use say VHF band. So VHF band will have higher first blind speed. So if we consider same pulse repetition frequency of say 1000, for L band we are here, first blind speed of just nearly here in this, say 200. right? But for VHF band, it will be more than 1000, more than 1000. Corresponding unambiguous range is this. This is same for both the cases. But point is that if we use the lower band of frequency, the first blind speed will occur at higher values. So based on this knowledge, we have to select the radar frequency, keeping in mind other effects of the on the frequency, like propagation, etc., etc. Now consider the staggered pulse repetition frequency. The use of more than one pulse repetition frequency offers additional flexibility in the design of MTI Doppler filters. It not only reduces the effect of blind speeds, but it also allows a sharper low frequency cutoff in the frequency response that might be obtained with a cascade of single delay line cancellers with sin to the power n pi fdt response. That means n delay line canceller. The blind speeds of two independent radars operating at the same frequency will be different if their pulse repetition frequencies are different. Now, if one radar were blind to moving target, it is unlikely that the other radar will be blind also. That means if we use two radars simultaneously and one radar, they are operating at different pulse repetition frequencies. So if one radar is blind for a particular speed of the target, the other radar will not will be able to detect that particular target, and it is very unlikely that both the radars will fail to detect it. Now, instead of using two radars simultaneously, the same result can be obtained with one radar, which time shares its pulse repetition frequency between two or more different values. This is called the multiple PRF. The pulse repetition frequency might be switched every other scan or every time the antenna is scanned a half beam width, or the period might be alternate on every other pulse. When the switching is pulse to pulse, it is known as staggered PRF. So let us see staggered PRF. Targets not detectable because of blind speed in the frequency response of one PRF will be detectable with the other PRF. For example, if we use two PRFs and the ratio is 4:5, PRF ratio is 4:5. That means after 4 cycles of first PRF and 5th cycles of the second PRF will occur at the same frequency. So for both the PRF, this frequency is the common blind frequency, or rather common blind speed. This Doppler frequency will give you the common blind speed. Now, suppose the moving target speed is such that for the first pulse repetition frequency, it is in the blind speed spot right here. So the first PRF will not be able to detect that particular moving target, but the second PRF can do it because it is not zero right here. Similarly, for the second PRF, for some target, if it falls in the blind speed region, so this one, the second PRF will not be able to detect that particular target, but the first PRF can do it. So in this way, either of the PRF, either of the signal will be able to detect, and there will be no blind speed, because one blind speed corresponding to one PRF is not the blind speed corresponding to the other PRF. So this is how the system can work with the staggered PRF. Now a target is lost on both PRFs when the blind speed occurs simultaneously as when 4 by T1 equal to 5 by T2. That means here, that we have said earlier. So first blind speed for first PRF was here, for second PRF was here. Both of them are very low. But if we use staggered PRF, the first blind speed will be shifted right here. Also second blind speed will be shifted right here. So effective blind speed is now this much. It's huge, from here to here. So we can enhance the first blind speed enormously using this staggered PRF. So method of employing multiple PRFs to avoid the effect of blind speed. A PRF can be changed scan by scan, dual by dual, pulse by pulse. So these are the pulse by pulse means this is actually staggered PRF. Well, dual is the time on the target. That means time taken to scan the antenna beam over a beam width or some fraction of beam width. So staggered PRF application is ATC. ATC radars, they can use this type of staggered PRF in reliable fashion. Nowadays everything is going to the digital system, so obviously because of several advantages. So MTI processing is now done in digital domain. In digital technology, using memory, it is very convenient to implement delay lines that we have stated earlier when we were discussing the delay lines, digital delay lines. Compensation for blind phases which cause a loss due to the difference in phase between the echo signal and the MTI reference signal. Now this is achieved by use of I and Q processing. I means in phase and Q means quadrature phase, which was not convenient to implement with analog methods. Greater dynamic range can be obtained than was possible with acoustic delay lines, because in analog domain we have to convert it into acoustic wave. The electromagnetic wave has to be converted into acoustic wave, then we will produce the delay, and after that again we have to reconvert it into electromagnetic wave from the acoustic wave. That was the problem of the analog system. Unwanted changes in the delay times of acoustic delay lines due to temperature changes are eliminated by the accurate timing of digital networks, digital methods. There is no problem in making the delay time in the digital memory synchronous with the radar's PRF. Something difficult to do with acoustic delay lines, because acoustic delay lines, actually we have to design this analog delay lines. Different methods are there and their length must be chosen properly, otherwise we may get different delays. Now if we really want to change the PRF, then we have to change the delay lines as well, because delay lines, amount of delay is dependent on the length of the delay line in analog domain. So that's a headache actually. So we can eliminate those problems with the help of a digital system, where we can change PRF as per our choice, and it is very easy to synchronize with the radar's PRF accurately because we are using memory. The flexibility offered by digital methods allows signal processors to be readily obtained with many different filter characteristics. Digital processors can be made reprogrammable. Now, digital MTI is more stable and reliable than its analog counterpart and requires less adjustments during operations in the field. So those are a few advantages of digital MTI processing. Now with single phase detector and single processing channel, there is a loss when the Doppler shifted signal is not sampled at the peak positive and negative values of the sine wave. When the phase between the Doppler signal and the sampling at the PRF results in a loss is called the blind phase. So if you consider the first figure, the target's Doppler frequency is equal to PRF. This is an example of blind speed. That means here we have the radar echo pulse, here we have the radar echo pulse. It is same thing. So if we use I and Q channel, then these are the blind phases for I channel. In Q channel, this one is sine wave, so Q channel will be the cosine. So this one is the blind phases. These are the blind phases for the Q channel. Now in here, blind speed in I channel, where PRF is twice the Doppler frequency and phase of the sampling is such that there is no response at all. That means, as you can see, A1 it is 0, A2 is 0, A3 is 0. So we are not getting anything for I channel. But what happens to the Q channel? For Q channel, we have amplitude of B1, we have B2, B3, B4, etc. That means though I channel response is 0, but Q channel will give us the full response. Since we have divided this whole thing into I and Q channel, so that's the advantage of digital MTI processing. One of the channel will give us the result, though one particular channel may be it is suffering from blind speed or blind phase, but the other channel will take over. So as a whole, we will get some response. Now consider the digital MTI processing. So phase detector output in I and Q channels are, say, AD cos 2 pi f dt plus phi and AD sin 2 pi f dt plus phi. So from IF we are here. So phase detector output in I channel is this. For Q channel, right here, this is the signal. So then the signals are digitized using AD converter. So we have two AD converters for I channel and Q channel. Then we have memory, digital memory and digital processor. So digital words are stored in digital memory for the required delay time and are processed with suitable algorithm to provide the desired Doppler filtering. The magnitude of Doppler signal is obtained by taking the square root of I square plus Q square. Here we have the I signal, here we have the Q signal. So Doppler signal will be obtained with I square plus Q square and taking the square root of it. So if I is 0, Q will take over, and if Q is 0, then I will take over. Otherwise both of them will give us something and we will get some positive result. If required, the combined unipolar output can be converted to an analog signal by a DA converter for display purpose, or you can store these things in for further processing. Now consider the moving target detector. This is a specialized processing system for processing of MTI system. So MTD is an example of an MTI processing system that takes advantages of the various capabilities offered by digital techniques to produce improved detection of moving targets in clutter. MTD enables improved detection capabilities in presence of clutter. So let us consider the features. This is the basic block diagram of the MTD. So from I and Q, we first divide this. It may be I channel or it may be Q channel. So we first divide this whole thing into two parts. One will take care of the clutter and another will take care of the moving target. So we have 3 pulse canceller and 8 pulse Doppler filter bank. Then we have some weighting and magnitude circuitry that will be given to the thresholding purpose. The other channel, we have zero velocity filter. We will get the magnitude. Then we produce the clutter map recursive filter that is connected to the memory to store the clutter map. So magnitude of zero velocity filter will also go to the threshold, and clutter map recursive filter output we can also use to determination of threshold. So threshold can be adjusted in an adaptive fashion. So consider the features of MTD. Utilizes 3 pulse canceller followed by 8 pulse A50 Doppler filter bank. Alternate PRF to eliminate blind speed. Adaptive threshold. Clutter map that is used to detect crossing targets with zero radial velocities. That means the target is moving side by side, means from left to right, something like this. So it is not going towards or away from the radar. It is going from one point to another point. The distance of the 2 points are same with respect to radar. So under this condition, this clutter map is used to detect such targets. MTD achieves narrower notch at zero velocity and at the blind speeds. MTD divides its coverage volume into a huge number of resolution cells, and for each cell, adaptive threshold can be adjusted separately. So these are the few features of moving target detector. Now we will consider the limitations of MTI performance. To understand the performance of MTI system, we need to know some parameters. So first one is MTI improvement factor. The signal to clutter ratio at the output of MTI system divided by the signal to clutter ratio at the input, averaged uniformly over all target radial velocities of interest. This is what we call improvement factor, MTI improvement factor. Sub-clutter visibility, the ratio by which the target echo power may be weaker than the coincident clutter echo power and still be detected with specified detection and false alarm probabilities. Clutter visibility factor, the signal to clutter ratio after cancellation or Doppler filtering that provides stated probabilities of detection and false alarm. The improvement factor, it is the subclutter visibility times the clutter visibility factor. So in decibel we can write improvement factor is subclutter visibility plus clutter visibility factor in dB. When the MTI is limited by noise like system instabilities, then the clutter visibility factor should be chosen as is the signal to noise ratio as defined in radar equation. Now the limitations, the equipment instabilities. So pulse to pulse changes in the amplitude, frequency or phase of the transmitter signal, changes in the Stallo or Coho oscillators in the receiver. Though we said that Stallo and Coho, they are very stable oscillator, but there must be some changes. There may be some edging effect, there may be some temperature effect. So there will be some small changes in the impulse oscillator output. Now, jitter in the timing of the pulse transmission, variations in the time delay through the delay lines, the changes in the pulse width can cause the apparent frequency spectrum from perfectly stationary clutter to broaden and thereby lower the improvement factor of an MTI radar. So this is the effect, the lowering of improvement factor because of equipments. Now, internal fluctuations of clutter. There are many types of clutter that cannot be considered as absolutely stationary, like echoes from trees, vegetations, sea, rain, and shaft fluctuate with time. And these fluctuations can limit the performance of MTI radar because it is difficult if the target velocity becomes comparable to those fluctuations, then it would be difficult for us to isolate the actual target velocity and the fluctuation of the clutter. So that's the problem of internal fluctuation of clutter in MTI processing. Antenna scanning modulation. As the antenna scans by the target, it observes the target for finite time, that is equal to T0 equal to NB by FP. That means theta B divided by d theta is dt, where NB is the number of hits received, that we have already seen that in connection with pulse integration, that in a particular scan a number of pulses can go to the target and we get the number of echoes. This is what we call NB. FP is the pulse repetition frequency, theta B is the antenna beam width, and d theta is dt is the antenna scanning rate. The received pulse train of finite duration T0 has a frequency spectrum whose width is proportional to 1 by T0. So even if the clutter were perfectly stationary, there will still be a finite width of the clutter spectrum because of the finite time on target. If the clutter spectrum is too wide because of observation time, because the observation time is too short, it will affect the improvement factor. And to avoid this, we have to consider some multiple delay line cancellers, like 2 delay line cancellers, 3 delay line cancellers, etc. But that will again complicate the whole system. So enough for the day. See you in the next class. Thank you.